Welcome back, guys. In this video I'll be showing you how to draw a rectangle, and there are a few things that we need to take note of when drawing a rectangle. One, we need a minimum of 2 points, point 1 and point 2. That's one. Second thing, we should be aware that the tab key is used to switch from the X to Y value, right? Thirdly, it is important to know that the first value in that box is always the X value or the horizontal value. The second box is the Y value. Very, very important. Say, for example, we need to draw a rectangle. We would type REC followed by the Enter key. Once you have done that, the command bar here should be rectangle. So the command bar should change to rectangle. Then it should ask you to select object. So we have rectangle, select object. Now you're gonna go ahead and click a spot, drag here to create the rectangular object. Then select the object. It will then ask you to specify the first point. The first point is the lower point for the rectangle. This point here. It will then ask you to specify first point. So your next step would be to click anywhere on the drawing. So you would move your cross here to where you want the rectangle to start. Say, for example, I want my rectangle to start here. I would move my cross here to this point, left click here. This will then change and ask me to specify the upper right corner. The upper right corner now is the distance that I want is a point up here. It's the distance I want this rectangle to be in the X and also the Y. So it's basically a coordinate that we have to establish. So say, for example, if the side is 50 and here is 30, we would type 50 tab key or comma 30. Again, 50 tab 30, followed by the enter sign. This will generate a point here, which is 50 millimeters on the X, 30 millimeters on the Y, to create a rectangle. And that's all there is to it. All right, very important. Note, just in case you have entered the wrong value for the Y. So let's go through this one more time. All right. You want to draw a rectangle, you type REC followed by the enter key. You then click your first point, which is here. It will then ask you to enter the next point. So you should see something like this popping up. As you move across here, you will notice the value on X and Y moves correspondingly. You will then enter your X value, 50 tab 30. Enter, and that will generate that. Something very important to note is that if you are using AutoCAD architecture, it is a bit different. All right. Note, for AutoCAD architecture, this is a bit different. All right. You're gonna click start again for AutoCAD architecture, rectangle, enter, click first point. It will then ask you to specify the upper point. Note, you must use the at sign before the X value. So it is at 50 tab key 30. Enter. Very, very important to note. Again, for AutoCAD architecture, you need to use the @ sign before you enter these values. Also, you should know that instead of the tab key, you could use the comma as well. All right. Just in case you're entering the values, and you realize that you have entered 300 instead of 30. Simple fix. You simply press the tab key. Once you press the tab key, it will switch from the Y to the X value. Press your tab key again, it will toggle to the next value. All right. And the active value normally turns green or blue. Yes, turns blue. Then you can make the correction as necessary. Okay. So that is all there is for drawing a rectangle. You will need 2 points, lower point, upper point. All right. And we can toggle between the X and the Y value by using the tab key. All right. Lastly, the first value is normally the X. Second value is normally the Y. And that's all there is for rectangle. Okay. Peace out, guys. Remember, practice, practice, and more practice.